All right, let's talk some Mariners. Scott Servais, longtime manager of the M's, been around since 2016. He got fired over the weekend. Dan Wilson, Mariners legend, member of that 95 Mariners comeback team, the refuse to lose team. He is now the new head coach, the new manager of the Mariners. Worked out for them so far. They've won 3 of 4 since they brought in Dan Wilson. And I have to say, as a Mariners fan, and if you know me, I'm a huge Mariners fan. Um, thought it was time for Scott Servais to go. I did. I thought that he was just. It didn't feel like the players were motivated. It didn't feel like they had that energy, and it didn't feel like they really wanted to play for him. It felt like an uninspired baseball team. And so, yeah, I thought getting rid of Servais was the right move. I have to say, it's interesting. They said Wilson is going to be the long-term guy going forward. That means one of two things, really one of three things. Either A, they've been planning to get rid of Servais for a while, and they already had identified Wilson as the replacement. B, it doesn't actually mean anything because it's just Dipoto trying to save his job. Because I think Dipoto can say whatever the hell he wants about, Wilson's the guy, and I believe in Dan Wilson. But if Jerry Dipoto is truly on the hot seat, which I think he is, then it could just be meaningless to say he's full time. He and Dipoto could both be gone after the season. Or C, it just means that the team has no idea what they're doing, which is also possible. Based off of reports that we hear from inside the clubhouse, I don't know if the Mariners entirely know what they're doing in this situation. But what I do know is that so far it's worked out. Now, the Mariners are they're still 3.5 games back of Houston. They play Houston in a couple weeks. They basically have to win that series and gain a couple more games on Houston. They're not going to make the wild card. That's pretty much out of the question. Their only real chances to catch Houston and win the West, and it is still possible. I don't know how likely it is. As a Mariners fan, I don't really honestly think it's that likely. Watching this team, they were just so streaky. It's a very streaky team, but they have a relatively easy schedule. They do. They play the Angels again. They play the A's a couple times. They play Texas a couple times, and they get Houston, who they need to gain some ground on. So there are opportunities to pick up wins. There are. It just depends on can they. I mean, there's 30 games left in the season. They pretty much probably are going to have to win 18 plus. So 18-12 is about the worst they can go. I think if they finish up 18-12, they wind up, I think, 7 or 8 games above 500. 8 games above 500 normally doesn't make the playoffs. Maybe it does. Maybe it does in this AL West. Got a feel for Robbie Ray, by the way, on the mound for the Giants. He got hurt in Seattle. That's his first time pitching in Seattle since a year and a half ago in April of 2023, when Robbie Ray, his first game in Seattle of the season, went out for the year because of Tommy John, and then he gets hurt again in T-Mobile. I don't know what it is about T-Mobile and Robbie Ray. Something about that, though, really causes him to get hurt. But yeah, with the Mariners, I like the move. I thought they needed to make a change. I'm glad that they did. And I'm interested to see, can Dan Wilson win, 18 or 19 out of those last 30? Can he get them going hot at the right time? And particularly, even if you do go 18-12, 19-11 to finish the season, you have to win that series against Houston. I think that is an essential series. At least 2, a sweep would be humongous. But even a sweep, you're still behind. You're 3.5 behind. So even if you sweep Houston right now, that's not enough. The Mariners do not control their own destiny in this thing just yet. They need to get into that point, in my opinion.